would you think one of those political changes would have been the majority of this country feeling that you didn't do right by them, which the BJP banked on?
No, that's not correct. A large number of people wanted change, and that's quite understandable after 2 terms in office. Change is the order of the day, and a certain amount of incumbency has worked against us. But I don't think a large number of people felt that they had been wronged. When you talk about majority, you're talking about the majority Hindu population. I'm a Hindu. So are 80% of India. I don't think the Hindu population had any reason to believe, or in fact, they did not believe, according to me, that the Hindu population had been wronged. They may have felt that
not included.
I beg your pardon?
Not included in your politics.
That's not correct. That's not correct. In fact, if you ask me, 9.67% of Gujarat's population is Muslim. 182 seats in the Gujarat Legislative Assembly. Did you know, and I'm sure most of them don't know, the BJP has not fielded a single Muslim candidate since 1995
True,
in
right.
any of the elections. In any of the elections. Since 1995 in Gujarat, the last 27 years, there have been 5 elections. The BJP has not fielded a single Muslim candidate. Now, the Hindu population may have felt that we are being a little more indulgent to the minorities. But I'll tell you, Mahatma Gandhi said, and every other leader in the world has said, it is the duty of the majority to protect the minority. For example, Indians and Hindus are a minority in the UK. They are a minority in the US. If a Hindu Indian is hurt in US or UK, it is the duty of the Christian majority of that country to protect the Hindus. Equally, it is the duty of the Bangladesh government and the Pakistan government to protect the minority Hindus. By that same token, India's majority has a duty to protect the Muslims, the Christians, the Jains, the Parsis, the Buddhists, and the Jews.
Theoretically, there's absolutely nothing wrong, Mr. Chidambaram, with what you say, but I'll ask you a counter question to that. Then what explains this muscular Hindutva politics, majoritarianism that we see not just in our politics, but in our people, the polity per se?
It's sad. I don't have an answer. I'm not a sociologist. I am not of an answer. But I don't think the average Hindu believes in muscular Hinduism. The average Hindu, I believe, feels pride in his religion, wants to practice his religion, and does not want, I believe, does not want to hurt the Muslim or the Christian who is practicing his or her religion. That is the average Hindu. There is a small segment, maybe a growing segment, a small segment, which believes in muscular Hinduism. But I sincerely hope that this is only a passing phase, and they will realize that muscular Hinduism only brings more social disorder in the country, more conflict in the country, and more violence in the country. I think muscular Hinduism, which is visible today, and I concede that, it's visible today, I sincerely hope will recede after a few years.
I'd also talk about, when you talk about the muscular Hindu will recede after...
Your words.
No.
Muscular Hinduism is your words. I repeated it.
These are my words because that's the sense that you pick up from ground. I'm a political reporter, sir. So, my words from that account. I'll come back to your writings, your weekly articles, your book of essays. It's a takedown and very constructive in a lot of ways of the government on many accounts. Interference when it comes to central agencies, when it comes to derailment of the economy. You spoke about the secular fabric, the way they've interfered with, what would be your biggest critique of this government? Of all of that?
Oh, my biggest critique of this government is, it is a government of the few, for the few and by the few. This government mercifully has not dismantled the economic principles that were set by the Manmohan Singh government. But the way they apply the principles, clearly monopolies are growing in this country. Capitalism is getting even firmly rooted in this country. And the bottom 20% are poorer in this country than what they were 8 years ago. I'll demonstrate it, and I'm willing to challenge anyone to a debate on that. The bottom 20% is poorer in terms of their livelihood, in terms of their level of life, what shall we, standard of life, than they were 8 years ago. So I think while this government is applying the free market principles, it's clearly for the few, not for all.
Why is it, Mr. Chidambaram, then that the bottom 20% hasn't been able to grasp with that and they're still voting for this government?
Yes. That is the curse of poverty. The curse of poverty is you're so weak, so powerless, so intimidated, so much in fear that you cannot fight back. You simply accept it with resignation and say, this is my fate. But please understand, the bottom 20% is poorer in India. They will vote when they have an opportunity. But why do you think in many, many states there is a non-BJP government? It's not as though the BJP is sweeping every state. Despite all this, despite the frenzied support of sections of the media, despite the huge money power and the huge amount of state power, there are many, many states which have voted against the BJP. Practically the whole of the South votes against the BJP in election after election in the last 20 years. And who knows what will happen in Himachal, which has already gone to election, and what will happen in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand and West Bengal when elections are called again. Therefore, I think there is a certain pushback, but I concede that in the Hindi-speaking states, the pushback is not strong enough.